Well, I don't want to hide them, so just drop them there. Sierra, it looks like you're the only one here today that's shorter than me. Did you want to come up and hear a story?
I guess everyone else is sick.
Well, you know, I wouldn't be surprised by that because I'm not that well either. But here we are, and I'm glad you're here today. And you're not sick, right?
Nope.
You're feeling pretty good? Good. Well, I have a really big story today. And you've seen this cloth before, right? This is the cloth that tells us that we are in the land where Jesus lived and taught people about God. And today, we're in a little different part of that land, a place that we haven't seen for a while, because it is
A big city.
a big city. It is the city of Jerusalem. Have you heard of that city? Jerusalem. And that's where our story happens today. And at the center of the city was the temple, which is like our church. It was a place where people went to be in connection with God, to learn about God.
I know where a tiny church is.
Do you?
It's far away in Kelowna, and I lived in it with Blaze and Rose Cup, and it was so fun.
And it was a little church?
And there was a little grave with under the grave there was white men.
I know where you were. And when our story happens, it's at a time that was a time of celebration, sort of like Easter for us. It was called Passover. And it was a time when people came from all over the country, came to Jerusalem for this big festival. And so there were lots and lots of people in the city. And what had happened recently was that this city was ruled by someone called Caesar. Caesar was a king, but Caesar lived in a far-away land, in a place called Rome. And even though he lived far away, he ruled all the people that lived here. And he did that by having someone here who was like a local king, and his name was Pilate. And Pilate was the person who was responsible to make sure that nobody caused trouble, that everybody did what they were supposed to do. Now, this city was surrounded by a great big wall, and the only way you could get in was to come in through a gate. And there was a gate at this side, and there was another gate at this side. And because there were lots of extra people here, Pilate arrived at the gate in order to make sure that people did what they were supposed to. But he didn't come alone. He came with an army. Lots and lots of soldiers. Hundreds of soldiers that all came through the gate, and they were going to make sure that nothing bad happened, that everybody did what they were supposed to do. There were lots of them. And Pilate was at the front of this huge army, and he was on a great white steed or horse. That's how he arrived. So you can imagine the people as they saw all these soldiers marching in line coming into the city. But at the other gate, there was someone else. Jesus. Jesus had come for the Passover, the big festival. And he arrived at the other gate. But when he arrived, it wasn't on a great white stallion. He came on a donkey.
It's like up there.
Just like up there, that's right. He came on a donkey. And he came with his friends. They didn't look much like an army, but they were all following him into the city. And they formed their own kind of parade. And the people, when they saw Jesus, were so excited because they'd heard that he was someone who knew a lot about God and a lot about love. And what they started doing is they started throwing their cloaks down to make like a carpet for him to walk on. And all along the road they threw down their cloaks. And they also pulled branches off the trees and they threw down branches to make his walk softer. And so here we are, all of a sudden in the center of the city, we have these two parades that meet. And I wonder what Pilate thought when he saw Jesus' parade. I wonder what he thought. And I wonder what Jesus thought when he saw Pilate's parade. And I wonder what happened next. That's our story. Story of two parades. And we're going to sing a song now. And if you want to dance, you're welcome to dance, because this is a dancing song. And you too. Sana Sanani, which means Hosanna.